Okay, our next guest, three-time premiership coach, Carlton senior coach, and our 5AA AFL expert. We speak of Michael Malthouse. Mick, thanks for your time.
It's a great pleasure to look forward to 2014 with you guys.
Hey, you refreshed? Did you have a good break?
I had a reasonable break. My wife wasn't overly well through the pre-season, but now she's kicked up and ready to go. So we're looking forward to 2014, moving forward. And I guess you go from one football season to another very quickly. We cursed and cussed, and you couldn't believe some of the language we used when we were in Arizona. And all I say now is, bring it on.
So why was that, Mick? Share that with us.
Well, it was minus 20. Now work out what you want. Do you want something between minus 20 and, say, 4 degrees, or do you want 40 degrees? Give me the 4 degrees to minus 20 every day of the week.
Oh, that's right. So will you do it again? It sounds like that might be long in the tooth, the old Arizona trips.
May not go to, that's a matter of opinion. You know, I suspect that given that we will do altitude again, and I just noticed the boys in South Africa have perched themselves in Potchefstroom, but now they're going up to Joburg. The Potchefstroom is also at altitude. It's not great, but it's still relevant. So whether we go to Africa, whether we go to America, whether we go to New Zealand, there are a lot of places about where you can get altitude, and you just got to find the place where you can actually train in altitude is the most important and appropriate. So we will scout the earth, and we're a great believer in it, as most clubs are. Super
Bowl 48 yesterday, Mick. Anything we can learn from that or take from it? What do you think of it?
Oh, well, I love the gridiron. I think there's relevance in nearly every sport. I think when you look at defence versus offence, it's pretty clear cut that the best defensive side, who managed to score 43 points for the start off, they were pretty dominant, pretty brutal, and I reckon they had a certain hunger about them. This is their first one they've won, and I half suspect that when you go through from the college days to professional sport, in this instance, the adult professional sport, you tend to get over a period of time, you get this thing about what have we won, what have we done, and really they were fantastic all year. They were defensive mindset, but I think it's like any great sport. If you see the best, you're prepared to go to it. If you want to go to the Olympics, you're going to go and see the best. If you're going to go and see you want to see soccer, go to Europe and see the best. It's see AFL, you go and you see AFL football, that's the best. And there's a trail up to the top, but to watch great sport, I can watch any great sport because I just think that you're looking at the best athletes, and it's fantastic for us.
Mick, Andrew Demetrio was over there having a look as well. Do you think he might have had another thought or a second thought about a night AFL Grand Final?
Well, Andrew's very set in his ways.
Yeah.
I know he's a great admirer of the NFL, a great admirer.
Loved it, yep.
And all the things that the changes have been very much based on the US thing. I think we can be seduced by money. Like, for instance, we've had one club from America come out now and say, guess what, we actually had a sports scientist, and we feel as if we've actually got a bigger gain in our game than we've ever had before. So, Andrew's never been not great for sports science, but now that one's come out, I reckon 2, 3, 5, 10 will start to investigate sports science a bit more.
Yep.
Will he come back with new rules? Well, in his reign as general manager, he's certainly come back with. We've changed a lot. We've had more times for the bloke who's having a shot from goal and the poor bloke kicking off. We've had umpires are in better position. They've changed the course of the game. We've had less rotations. We're getting less runners. I think it's a Mike Fitzpatrick one, that one. The thing about it is I'm bemused is that we're having less runners because the ground seems cluttered. I'm a little bit confused when you look what's in our NRL. Are the crowd actually on the bench or they're in the stands. Because there's got to be 70 people at least on each side. So I think it's a little bit of a misnomer to suggest that we have got a cluttered game because we've got 2 runners. But nonetheless, we'll live with it and we'll see where we go from there.
The AFL have revamped or going to the score review system to make it, in their words, more accurate and quicker. We've been debating it all day. Mick, I say don't because the technology's not there. What do you reckon?
Oh, Rowie, the technology's not there and it's not consistent, not persistent. Get rid of it.
Correct.
Wait until it's absolutely perfect because we don't want to be practiced on. You know, look, I can understand the NAB division and trying it, but when you're in the main season, unless it's perfect, forget it. Go by what you believe is right, which is the goal umpire's been there. He's stuck behind the goals now for over 100 years. Live with that rule. If it can't be perfect, don't try it. Don't have it during the main season.
And the other one, round 5, names on the back of AFL jumpers.
I like that. I've been a consistent voice that says that the number should be on both sides of the jumper, and names. I haven't really pushed hard on the names, but I believe it's a fantastic advertisement for the game to be proud of that number and see McDermott on the back, Rowe on the back. I just think it just says so much about the jumper.
Gee, there wouldn't be enough rocks to throw at it if those 2 names were on the back of jumpers.
Try Malthouse.
Hey, Mick, we saw some footage today of Daisy Thomas training and moving nicely. That must be a good sight for you.
Daisy's a wonderful kid. I really enjoy his company. He's one of those kids. Look, I've got 2 sons and 2 daughters, so I'm not about to say I love him as a son, but I do love him as a son. He's just a beauty. He brings so much to a football club, and I try hard not to be biased and not show it, but, you know, at the end of the day, the more you avoid it, the more it becomes obvious. So I treat every player as the way I see him, and I know very well that the chemistry mixes with some people.
Yep.
Some just want to get on and be professional footballers and just move on. Doesn't matter who coaches them. Others are concerned about who coaches them. Others like that personal touch. I get on very well, Daisy. I'm here to admit it, and he's going to be a great bonus for our club.
Is it okay for coaches to have favourites and then the teammates knowing damn well that, gee, he loves me, but he doesn't quite give me as much sugar? Do you think it's okay?
No, I don't believe that's the word that you want to use. I don't. You're going to, Rowie, absolutely this is a certainty, and you guys have both played.
Yeah.
You're going to have the chemistry mixed with certain people that flows in, blends, and it's a great relationship. Other ways, it's not, but you still... Look, I played 1980 Premiership. I'm still friends with... I'm acquaintance with all. I'm friends with a couple. That's just the nature of life, you know. And I don't want any player saying I treat a player in preferential treatment because it doesn't matter how close I am to a player. If I believe that he's not doing the right thing, let me tell you, he'd be the first and the harshest pick.
Yep.
Yeah, no, that's a good one.
So you've got to get it right.
Yeah. Hey, Michael Jamieson was interviewed on Fox, one of your star defenders, and very honest with his assessment on the playing group. Mick, listen to this and we'll get your comments.
I think it's been leadership, and, you know, it's something we've tried to address in the last few years, and I think now we're starting to get a real strong, you know, group of leaders and leaders that are willing to stand up, and, you know, we've all put our hands up that hasn't been as strong as it should be in the past.
Very honest there, Mick.
Yeah, Michael's been at the club for all his career. I think he's making an honest assessment that when I arrived at the football club, I made a comment prior to that, in the year leading up to that. I thought Chris Judd was a bloke that was overburdened by captaincy and needed support. And I stood by that. I made that comment when I was unattached to a football club. I made that comment, and I backed that comment up when I had the opportunity to coach Carlton. I believe that for us to grow, players need to grow. And have a look at Hodge. Have a look at even to the point of Lake, who was a one-year player at Carlton. He led by example. Hodge leads by example and voice. You have a look at Fremantle, Pavlich. They all listen. They all watch. They watch how Mundy operates. They watch how Fife operates. They watch how McFarlane operates. You've got to have people on the ground that have an impact. And what we need, and I'm first to say it, is that we want players to stand up. We've got a young, fresh group of leaders led by Mark Murphy, and I reckon that Mark Murphy, Simpson, Carazzo and Jamieson, they're the captain, vice-captains and deputy vice-captain, they are all strong characters. They will lead the side, and they'll get better, particularly Mark Murphy because he's only a young man. They'll get better as time goes on. Captain's a bit of a burden. It doesn't click automatically with some people, and it takes a little bit of time. I've noticed all our leaders grow with that responsibility, and I think the next step is don't worry about being loved, just be respected. And you know, I've seen some great players through my time have that philosophy, and they are highly respected, and they are hard. They're very, very hard men, and they get the best out of their teammates around them. And I think we're leaning closer and closer towards that. And I think Michael's very, very accurate.
Mick, it's a fascinating topic, I reckon, leadership in the AFL. I mean, everybody's talking about it. It seems to be one of the growing factions of footy clubs or parts of footy clubs. Collingwood and Scotty Pendlebury. How do you like that one?
Yeah, I think he identified himself very quickly when he first arrived at the football club. He was a natural leader.
Yeah, yep.
And you can see leadership. Leadership stands out very, very quickly because the world basically lacks leaders. And that's why we have the leaders that we have in the world. And some are good, some are bad. But nonetheless, they have this charisma about them that attract people. And I think Scott Pendlebury, the day he stepped into the place, I thought, well, we recruited probably half a dozen players that year. And he was one of those blokes, as was Dale Thomas. They stood out as natural-born leaders. And as time went on, he progressed into a position where clearly they rate him to take the club forward. And I say on evidence, I think he's going to be an excellent leader for them. And the same with like Nick Maxwell.
Yep.
I think it's a wonderful story. I see him, Kirk, young Brett Kirk, when he was captain of
the yep.
They come through the hard way. They come through as rookies. And when you haven't got naturally gifted talent that you get through on what you want to do for that football club, I think the accolades should, and well, I think they do, but they should definitely go to people like, both of those boys have been rewarded with captains of premiership sides, and I think it's testament to their courage and the way they operate. And good luck to their career. Both of them had fantastic careers, and Scott starting his career as captain, like Mark Murphy last year. They take time to adjust, but if I was Collingwood, I'd be pretty confident that he'd be able to lead well.
Mick, are you a believer that you're born with it and it's that's what it is, or you can manufacture it?
No. There are two types of leaders. Like I lecture on this stuff, and there are born and there are made leaders, and both are very, very good when things are running very, very good.
Yep.
But when things are not running so well, the born leader stands up and makes decisions. 9 times out of he'll make a blunder like no other, but he's prepared to put his neck on the line to make that blunder, and he'll make infrequent blunders. I reckon the made leader has to go to the textbook and find out exactly how to get over this hump, and in the meantime, things have deteriorated even further.
Yep.
Give me a born leader every day of the week.
Wow, well said. Mick, just one last one before we let you go. As a senior coach of an AFL team, you've got to get this time of the year absolutely spot on. I think you guys are only 40 days until round 1 versus Port at Etihad. We had Doc Larkins on, and he said as many players get injured in the next 3 weeks as any time in any AFL season, because they're as fit as they've ever been. Your workloads are incredible. You start competitive work and you've got trial games. So what do you get right now? Because it can make or break a season this next month,
absolutely.
Mick.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I think, Rowie, one of the things that really bothers me is that we tend to lead from one season to another. And what we end up giving players is a relative time to get rest and perhaps to get rid of a few little sore points. I think that the damage done to me is it's like they come back and that injury hasn't healed up, and then the doctors make a decision, guess what, look, time doesn't help, but we have to have surgery. That player has surgery December, January. His whole pre-season is compromised, and that's the biggest killer. We had 19 blokes who were operated on. We thought we cleaned it all the way up, but we've had 1 or 2 that have had to go back in, and their pre-season is now compromised. So what Doc Larkin said is correct. What we've got to be very careful about is rushing those players back too quick to say, well, listen, catch up because we need you. You're better off leaving them go for another couple of... Let their pre-season start now. And if they miss the first part of the season, you know what? Get over it. get over it. At least you got the season. It's a marathon this season. It's not running over a sprint. It's run over a marathon.
Yeah, well said as always. Great chat. Looking forward to the season ahead, Mick.
Well, boys, it's been fantastic. I really enjoy the company with you guys, and I wish you guys the best for the year.
We'll speak
Good
to
on
you
you,
next
Mick.
Tuesday. Well done, Mick.